Hi everyone, I hope you're keeping safe and well out there. If you've read the article relating to this, you'll recognise that we're going to give you a few exercises to do at home. Exercise is an amazing thing for the body, for the mind, for strength, for movement and for just in life in general, with lots of physical and mental benefits from getting out and doing a bit of exercise. I know we're all stuck at home currently, and some people may fear types of exercise. They may feel you have to go to a gym, or they may feel you have to carry heavy weights around. Well, no, you don't. One of the best things you can do is use your own body. You can work with controlling and pushing your own body weight, and lots of these exercises will work on that. However, a couple of the upper body exercises that we do later in the week may require a small weight, such as some tins or some water bottles or anything else we can find to add some resistance. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to show you some exercises over the week and demonstrate them in a certain way, which is just the way that I teach them, the way that I've been taught, the way that they've been developed over the years working in football and the military with other sporting populations. Don't worry about this, you don't have to do them exactly as I do. Everyone has different movements, everyone has different patterns, everyone has different restrictions, they may have had injuries. So don't get bogged down with exactly how I do it. You'll find your own way of doing it comfortably and how to adapt. That's not a problem. But if you can try and do it somewhere close to what we say, some of the tips and the prompts that we give you, then you may get more out of this than you have done before. You may just learn something new or how to work yourself. Again, if you've had any previous injuries or problems or restrictions, then please don't feel you have to do all of these, and certainly do anything that you know you shouldn't do. Next thing, a lot of people get bogged down with the concept of sets and reps and how many of each exercise they should do. Now, for this going out to all of you out there, it could be hundreds, maybe thousands of people, it's not easy for me to prescribe specific exercises and the amount of numbers that you should do. If I said to you do 312s, now someone may find that really easy and get no benefit from it. Someone else might find it really difficult, can't do that many and then feel like they failed or that they can't do the exercise. We don't want that, we don't want anyone feeling that way. So there's a couple of little ways that we can do to manage this and make it a little bit more specific. One is to work on a scale of 1 to 10, which is called an RPE, which is a rate of perceived exertion. Okay, so if 10 is the maximal exertion you could imagine doing of an exercise, then 1 to 10 is your scale. So if you're working somewhere between 6 and 8 and you feel like you're getting a little bit out of breath or it's a little bit hard work, then fine, you're going to find that as your level and you're going to start to get some benefit from the exercise program. Another way, which is a little bit more specific, is something we call reps in reserve. So say for example, you've started doing an exercise and you've got to about 14 or 15 and you feel that if you did 3 or 4 more, you'd start to lose quality, you wouldn't be able to do any more, then you're stopping at 3 reps in reserve. Okay, so then if you then did your next set and it was only 11 or 12, but you still thought you could only do 3 more, you're still working at 3 reps in reserve, sorry. So that works, okay? So if that's something when you work to, and some people equate that together. So 2 reps in reserve, some people say that's equivalent to 8 out of 10 because it's really nearly at your maximal effort. So I'll have a little work with that anyway. And you can do it however you want, at a comfortable rate. Next thing, just to give you a bit of a heads up, is that if you're starting to work muscle groups that you haven't done before, you haven't done for a long time, or you're doing things a little bit differently, you may get a little bit of muscle soreness in the days following the exercise. This is just called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. It's natural, it's just the body's way of saying, well, I've been worked here and I've been a little bit damaged and I'm going to improve and I'm going to get better and stronger over the next few days. Okay, so yeah, the first time you do it, it might feel a bit sore. Don't worry too much. The next time you do it, it won't be so bad, and the next time you do it, it probably won't happen at all. But it is a natural thing, so just be aware that that might happen. Finally, just do what you can do. Enjoy it. You don't have to do all of these exercises at once. You can pick and choose a few each day. Anything's better than nothing. So if you want to just find one that you're really comfortable with and do that all the time, great. If you find all 20 really good that we're going to do over the next few days, fantastic. Have a little play around with it. I'm going to give you a few different variations and progressions of each exercise to make them more difficult, or show you where you can add weight as well if you want to, if you've got that access at home. Before I go, I've also been given some links to home exercise programs for seniors by Johnny Wilson and his colleague Paulina. They do some great content on sports medicine and things like that. Some great exercise prescriptions, some great exercise programs. So have a look at those and follow those. The links are in the article that go alongside with this. And finally, I just hope you find this beneficial. Be happy to hear any positive feedback. Please stay safe, stay at home and enjoy your exercise. Take care. Okay, first exercise we're going to do is bridging. Okay, so this is going to need us to lay on the floor and we're going to work these muscles here and these muscles here, the hamstrings and the glutes. Okay, so we start on the floor, nice and flat on our back, shoulders to the floor, our knees bent up, and our feet roughly shoulder width apart. Okay, and from that position, all we do, we push up through the heels until we're in a nice straight line between the knee and the shoulder. Okay, and then we slowly control back down, and we go again. Okay, so that's a double leg version. If we want to make that a little bit more difficult, what we can do is go up on 2 legs and take 1 leg off. And control back down. Then go up, take that one off, and control back down. And then if you want to go more difficult again, we can do it just on 1 leg. And again, if we want to make that a little bit more difficult, we can go to the bottom of the stairs. Now I'm using this step just to replicate the step that you might have at home, or you can go onto a stool or even onto a low sofa. But again, now we can just work through more movement. So now we can go higher. Work through more range of the muscles through here. Okay, and if we do want to add resistance to these movements, we can carry something across here. So if you've got a weight disc or a med ball, or you've got anything that you can carry that's got a little bit of weight in it, hold that across here, adds more resistance to the movement. Okay, now we're going to move on to a hip thrust, which is similar to the bridge that we've just done, but it's going to hit the glutes a little bit more than the hamstrings this time. Okay, so I've got that there, but imagine you can just use your sofa because we're going to get our shoulders on it. Okay, so you can do it in the living room at home. So we just get ourselves into position, shoulders across here, feet again shoulder width apart, and like last time, what we do, we're going to squeeze and push up like that. Okay, and then lower back down. Squeeze up and push up. And the principle is exactly the same. We can go from double leg to 1 leg off. And then going on to on single leg. Okay. And again, if you want to make this a little bit more of a challenge, and you've got something else you can put your feet on in the living room or wherever you're working, we can then go through even further range. Okay. We can push up nice and high and control. And again, we can go up on 2, down on 1, or we can just go up and down on 1 completely. And you can even do little isometric holds in position. So hold from anything from 15 to 30, or even up to 45 seconds if you want to get a little bit of isometric strength and control it there. And again, as before, if you want to get something with some weight, you can hold it right across your hips, and you can push that weight up as well. Okay, now we're going to do what we call a drop down. Okay, so we're going to need some support. Now at home you can do that in the doorway, or if you've got a banister that you can hold onto that way with your arms nice and wide, that's absolutely fine. In fact, that's really good, because what we're going to do is do like a seated movement. Okay, so we're almost going to be sitting back. So what we're going to do, we're going to hold into this position, and there's 3 little progressions of this. So I've got my feet roughly between my shoulders and my hips, width apart, and all I'm going to be doing, holding onto there, and I'm going to be sitting back like that. Okay, keeping myself central and come back up. Now if you look at that from the side view, when I'm in there, I'm not really moving my knees much. I'm literally sitting down, pivoting around my knee, and I'm using my arms for support. Okay, so again, it might be a little bit forward movement of the knee, but I'm not doing much at all for the sake of this exercise as we're dropping down. Okay, so if you come back to here, we try and keep ourselves really nice and central all the time. So we've got the double leg that we've just shown you. Then if we want to make it a little bit more difficult, we go to single leg support. So we can go flat foot on the leg that we're working, and bring the toes up and put the heel roughly in line with the middle of the foot on that side. And then we're going to work down, and then we're just pushing up a little bit harder through this 1 leg. Okay? And again, if we swap that over, I'm working in there. Now if I want to make that more difficult again, we do it completely single leg. But what we try and do is try and stay in the middle. We don't bring that foot central. We stay like that, the arms are for support, and we work up. And we control down, and we work back up. And we try and keep everything roughly in line between the hip, the knee and the foot as we do that. Okay? Now it's time to squat, okay? Loads and loads and loads of variations of squatting. We're going to give you a few different options for this. What we've done previously with holding in the doorway, we can do that kind of sitting back movement, and we can use a chair for support if we need that. And if you want a higher chair so you don't move back so far, that's fine. You can control that yourself. Now, a normal squat movement is, the way I teach it, feet between shoulder, hip and width apart. Not massively turned out, not turned in, not perfectly central, and again it's a sitting down movement, okay? So if that's side on, it's a sitting down movement, okay? So we're not coming forward like that, okay? So that would be a normal squat. As I mentioned, if you want to use a seat, what you can do is get used to sitting down, and if you want to have a little breather, that's fine, and you can come back up. And you can sit down, so that you get used to that pattern of using these to control you into that sitting movement, okay? And again, if you want to make that more difficult, we can do that as a single leg and come back up on two, or single leg and come back up on two, or supported one with the heel, like we have done before. Okay, so that gives us options if we want that for a little bit of safety. If we don't want that and we just want to squat, there are lots of different variations. So we've got the normal squat that we've done in there. Okay, we can go narrow and drop in. We can go what we call a sumo squat, where we go nice and wide and we can drop into there. Okay, we can go into a deep squat where we drop nice and deep and hold. Okay, there are other variations as well that we can do with our arm positions and with weight. Okay, so what we can have is we've got a little weight in our hands, we can hold it in here and we call it a goblet squat, and we drop into there. Okay, there's a thing called the prisoner squat where we have our hands in this position. And if the normal squat that you see when people have got a bar over the shoulders, that's just known as a back squat. Okay? But then we can also overhead. So there's lots and lots and lots of variations of a squat. So you can have a play around with it and do however you feel. But again, the basic, nice little squat position, or if you want to use a seat for protection, and you can manage and control your height and get used to the exercise, that's absolutely perfect for you.